Welcome back, everyone. Oh, I've got a good one. Well, first I'm going to start with a little side story. I was 11, maybe 12 years old. I used to demand that my parents would drive me to a local potato chip warehouse so we could pick up a bin of fresh potato chips. Now, I grew up on the eastern end of Long Island where everybody was a potato farmer, so that makes a lot of sense. Well, I got news for you. If you start eating chips at that age, they stay with you your whole life, and of course we all have our favorites. Speaking of which, Saratoga, legend has it, is the home of the potato chip. And one of my guests was here before to talk about that, Alan Richer, and we're joined today by Greg Dixon, who's a member of the Lions Club and chair of the Saratoga Potato Chip Festival. Something like that, right?
The Chip Festival, yes, sir.
The Chip Festival, yeah. That's great. Well, great to have you back, Alan. Nice to have you here, Greg.
Thank you so much.
Greg, you belong to a great organization. We've been involved with the Lions on a couple of different projects. There's a camaraderie about this club that I just haven't seen in other clubs. And everything you tackle, you know, it just, I don't know, it's a brotherhood about the way you guys go about it. So you're going to tackle the potato chip. So what happened here?
Well, a group of us led by Joe Sporco got together last year looking for another fundraiser for the Lions Club to help support our mission. And lo and behold, we combined the fact that Saratoga has its history as the birthplace of the chip. It's obviously a great place to be. And we put the two together and decided let's have a festival to celebrate this great history here in Saratoga Springs.
And lo and behold, right in our midst, we have the Toga Chip Guy.
Yes, yes.
Now, we're not going to ask you what drives you to be the Toga Chip Guy, but you know more than the average bear about the potato chip. What interests you in the potato chip?
Well, it was purportedly invented right where I bought my home 14 years ago. So Michael Noonan had told me a couple of the stories about how it began in Saratoga Springs, and I ended up getting into doing a lot of research and wanted to figure out what the true story was, and followed it as it crossed the country, with the original name being the Saratoga Chip before it was the potato chip. And I just got into it, and I'm still finding things even today.
You're becoming an authority on it now. I mean, people call you up to give little talks on the history of the potato chip. I think that's amazing. Tell us quickly about folklore about moons.
Well, there's a lot of different versions, but the most popular version says that in 1853, Moon's Lake House, which was on Saratoga Lake, had a chef, and his name was George Crum, and his last name was Speck. And what happened was a customer who purportedly was Commodore Vanderbilt came in, and he ordered steak and French fries. And the chef was ornery, and not once but twice, the customer complained that his French fries were too thick and not well done enough. So to spite him, the chef took out his razor, made them razor thin, and deep fried them, thinking that the customer wouldn't like them, but it ended up that he loved them. So that's the most popular story.
Oh, I love it. That's a great one. Now, you brought across here to the interview a couple of pieces, memorabilia. I'm afraid to touch this thing, but this company was Kerr's since 1885. Now, that Vanderbilt story is when? What year was that?
Well, 1853 is the year that it was purportedly invented.
So we have Kerr's. I don't know if you can see this really well or not, but we have a bunch of little memorabilia here. So the idea, joining forces, was a great idea between the Lions Club and Allen to launch this chip festival. Now, it's Saturday, what's the date, July 16th?
Saturday, July 16th. It's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's at the Saratoga Springs City Center right here in downtown Saratoga Springs. Rain won't be an issue, so come on out. And we're excited to have a full day of activities. There'll be sampling of chips from all over the country, and Alan's history display will be prominently featured as well.
I've got it now, so that you get an idea of the scope of this thing. We've got some of the big boys like Wise and Frito-Lay. There's nothing like the Lay's classic potato chip. I'm telling you, forget the sour cream. For me, it's just the Lay's classic. You've got some smaller ones, and one that I know from the North Fork of Long Island called North Fork.
Yeah, they're an interesting story because they are potato farmers, to touch back to what you had suggested earlier, who make their own chips. They have their own chip company as well. They're one example. We also have the only company that makes chips in West Virginia coming. We have a company from California, from Ohio, from Michigan. Of course, our own original Saratoga chips that are here in town. So it's a collection, like you said, of the big companies all the way down to small. Certainly some brands that you probably haven't tasted before, even though I know you're an aficionado. But some new discoveries for you, I think.
You know, it's one thing if beer wants to get into the craft business, but what about the potato chip?
Sure,
Come on.
sure.
Mr. Potato Head. Okay, you have to be my age to know who Mr. Potato Head is. The Mr. B's is coming too. I know that one. That's Massachusetts.
Yeah, they're
right?
actually the company I referenced from West Virginia.
Oh, they are. Okay.
So that's an interesting company. Hers, Frito-Lay,
Yeah.
Wise is our presenting sponsor. Utz also is coming, and Popcorners, which is an interesting chip. If you've ever had that, it's a popcorn-based chip.
Well, you've done your homework.
Yes,
you know
yes,
you really have.
yeah.
So this is going to be one heck of a festival. Something for everybody. Got some magicians there. It's going to be taste testing, and there's going to be a competition. There's going to be voting. Look, you know, Saratoga is so amazing to start with, and we are the home of the potato chips. Let's just lay the fact down here. And this is an opportunity to learn more about it. Alan's going to have a display there about the history of the potato chip, right, Alan?
Yeah, it's going to be the first time that I've really had enough sufficient room to display my whole extensive collection, so I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, Alan, that's really quite a mission there. I got news for you. Hats off to you. All right, so the festival, first ever, one of many to come, Saturday, July 16. The Lions Club is behind it. And as we know, every time the Lions Club gets involved with something and collect money, it goes right back into the community. And we got an expert like Alan there who is Mr. Potato Chip, Toga Chip Guy. That's quite a nickname, by the way. Well, thank you both very much for coming in.
Appreciate it.
And best of luck. And that guy in the back who's tasting all of the chips. You know who that
We'll
is.
save room for you, Jesse.
You better.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for coming in, Greg.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Alan.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com. Where are the chips?